All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to IGTV. This is the InfraGard interview, and on us on the phone we have William Murray, and here's Bill now. All right, Bill, why don't you start it off, and let's see what's in your crystal ball for this coming year. Go ahead.
Okay, guys. Welcome to the second decade of the 20th century. As the inevitable taught us, making predictions is very difficult, particularly when you want to make predictions about the future. But there are some data points that should be relatively predictive and which should enable us to look at least a few months into 2011. First of all, there are changes that are taking place in the network. These are so dramatic as to be almost scary. Sprint is introducing WiMAX into another dozen or so highly populated markets in the coming year. Verizon intends to introduce LTE into, what did they say, 40 new markets in 2011. AT&T has already introduced HSPDA Plus into a number of markets. These fourth generation broadband technologies will increase our capacity in our networks, increase the speed of our networks, and reduce latency by as much as half. And as many of you know, latency in broadband has been a considerable problem. It's not simply that it takes us a long time to download something, but it takes us a long time to turn something around.
Bill, just bring your camera down. Your camera went back up. A little more.
I gotta get so I can see myself, so I know where I am.
Okay, good.
There we go. Okay. The cost of radios, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, even cellular, is now down into the low tens of dollars. And what that means is that we're seeing multiple radios in many portable devices. These devices have all kinds of dramatic capabilities that we might not have expected looking out just a few years ago. Everything is now connected to everything else. The implication for those of us who are managing applications and services is that we no longer know where the end point of an application is. How can you do end-to-end encryption if you don't own both endpoints? Now, the implications of that are so dramatic that I plan to do a separate talk about it in the next coming weeks. But for now, it's safe to say that those of us who have been relying upon end-to-end encryption to protect data in the networks are in for some surprises. The cost of these devices is now so low that they come in Cracker Jack boxes. Now, you may think that's hyperbole on my part, but Verizon recently replaced Verizon recently replaced my Wi-Fi card for simply extending my contract for 6 or 8 months just to keep me as a customer. The chips in our applications are getting smarter and smarter. Applications can switch radios transparently to the user. We can have a telephone call that goes out over Wi-Fi, switches to cellular and back again. File transfer applications can do the same thing. An application can begin on Bluetooth, switch to Wi-Fi, and move back again. All of these have significant implications for those of us who are trying to manage connectivity. We're also seeing changes in addressability. While the DNS remains the core of our addressing schemes, we see all kinds of new application services that are coming online to help us find things like desktops, modems, and devices hidden behind firewalls. Look at storage. We'll now buy rotating storage in terabytes for about $100 per. We buy mini SD cards for $2 a gigabyte. These prices will halve again in less than a year. A terabyte, which as recently as 15 years ago took up a huge room and could not be backed up overnight, now fits in a shirt pocket and can be backed up in a couple of hours. Parkinson's law of storage assures us that data expands to fill the storage available to put it in. Storage is so cheap that Google, Microsoft, Dropbox, and Evernote give away the first couple of gigabytes so as to entice you to buy more from them when you need it. Cheap storage inevitably results in gratuitous copies, orphan data, and leakage. Information technology has been a deflationary force in our economy for more than 50 years. But until recently, it's been such a small part of the economy that it did not make a difference. Not only is it now becoming a major component of the economy, but it is now depressing all prices, including the price of ivory. It's sort of time to revisit the story of Ned Ludd. You can expect that as there is more and more pressure on salaries and wages, even though household income is increasing, there's going to be more disgruntled employees with all of the implications of that. The typewriter came and went in 100 years. The cell phone has been replaced by handheld computers in only 20. We call these handheld computers smartphones, even though making phone calls is only one application out of tens that we use the handhelds for. While this reflects the evolution of the device and the fact that we buy them from phone companies, it also hides the significance of the impact that they are having on our lives, our economy, and our culture. Look at the devices that they replace. Handhelds are replacing date books, wallets, phones, cameras, scanners, clocks and watches, recorders, radios and televisions, DVDs, music players, music instruments, GPSs, calculators, clipboards, and all kinds of terminals and input devices. Not even to mention keyboards and mouses. A child born today may never use a keyboard or a mouse. The New York Times reports that many toddlers already expect all screens to be touch sensitive. And if you haven't seen a toddler with Connect, go on YouTube and watch. It's absolutely stunning. PrimeSense, the firm that licensed to connect to Microsoft, will introduce a new PC user interface in 2011. Those are interfaces that are very, very different from what we have become accustomed to in the past. The Apple App Store lists 20 categories of applications for the iPhone. Telephony is not one of them. Telephony apps are a tiny part of a huge category called social networking. Right. Facebook. Facebook is another one that I'll do a special section on in coming weeks. Many of these applications are so novel that we would not have predicted them as recently as 5 years ago. They come about in large part because the technology has just become so cheap. But now, almost all of our enterprise applications are accessed by devices that are owned by our customers, our vendors, and our associates and employees. Google and Apple, whose devices and apps have been relatively orderly and well-behaved, will have to compete with Google Android and Microsoft Windows Phone 7 or whatever they call it. Okay? They're not likely to be as orderly and well-behaved as the Win and Apple applications of the past 2 or 3 years. The point of all of this is that users are increasing faster than ever in an otherwise hostile environment. Users have more flexibility and more control than ever. The target surface is increasing and can be expected to have many exploitable cheeks. While our resources are growing, They are not that is, our security resources are growing. They are not growing in proportion to our responsibilities. We are reminded of the ancient Chinese curse. May we live in interesting times. We are likely to have a surprising year. We are likely to have a very active year. We are likely to see things that we hoped never to see. On the other hand, that is why we are called professionals and are paid the big bucks. I look forward to going through 2011 with you and observing as we go and making some new conclusions. See you next week.
Thank you, Bill. We look forward to it. Bye now.